Okay, so hope everyone are doing good. By any chance, did you complete it? Night, I left 9 morning. At what time you got wake up? Acha, then okay. 8:40. Okay. Yeah, Dinesh, that's agenda. Yeah. So, but I'm sure that you will be doing these practicals by today. And anyways, tomorrow is Sunday. You have a good time. So anyway, so today we'll go with few more topics. So, but meanwhile, can you tell me what did we discuss in our last class? If you ask suddenly, how do we tell, sir? Uh, Yesterday we did a project, right? So load balancing project. What is that? Load. So that's a word important. Load balancing project using Nginx. So we set up the Nginx and the Python project in the backend, right? So that is one thing. And I've given one more project to you yesterday. That is also first project. First project we took the image from some other person and then we deployed. Second project, we need to build everything by ourselves and then doing it. So that will be really fun while doing it. So I've given one small Python code. If you know Python, you can enhance that code if required, but I just gave hello world code, right? And then you have that Python code, write a Docker file and then build it, and then you do everything by yourself there. Okay, that's the second project in Docker. And next, what did we learn? Docker Hub. Huh? Yeah, Docker Hub. In Docker Hub, we created the tags, and then we pushed with Docker login, and then we pushed, and then we deleted the MIs, and then we pulled it again. Okay. So today, let's go to the next important topic. We call it as, before I talk about the topic, first I'll give the reason for it. So yes, meanwhile, first we launch the EC2 instances. Uh, Before launching, let me tell you, till now, how many EC2 instances we were launching? Only one, right? Till now, we are using what? Only one EC2 instance. In that one EC2 instance, we are installing Docker, and then we are doing stuff, all the things, right? But we created the containers, we created images, everything on single machine. And we created yesterday load balancing high availability concept also in the single machine. But just in case if that single machine goes down, all your containers are also gone or not? All your containers gone or your images gone? Actually, every entire stuff, entire environment is gone. So is it good to be like this? So for that, what we need to have? We need to have a high availability on the machine level or not? We need to have high availability on the machine level, and we need to have the high availability on container level also. In yesterday's class, if that Docker machine, one EC2 instance goes down, everything is gone. And we need to set up something like this. We should not have only one EC2. We should be having multiple EC2s. And then if I create a container in one EC2, all my containers should be parallelly created. Multiple containers should be created across the EC2s. So just in case if one EC2 goes down, I still have another EC2, my containers also running. So it's nothing but twins. So here for our project, for our this topic, I'll be creating three machines. One I call it as leader. Second two we call it as nodes. Leader node, and then second is worker nodes. Leader node, worker nodes. So whenever you create a container, whenever you're creating a container with this new concept, let's say you created a container, and in the same container will be created in all three machines. So just in case if any machine goes down also, my application is impacted? No. And how do I achieve this topic? Using a concept called Docker Swarm. Say that. Online, put it in the chat, everyone. What is that? Docker Swarm. So whenever someone asks about what is Docker Swarm, you can simply say this is for high availability purpose. What purpose? High availability purpose. So for that, how many EC2 instances you want me to launch now? You can go 3 also, 4 also, 10 also, your wish. But decently, I'll go with what? How many? 3. So let's go and launch 3 machines first and then talk more about Docker Swarm. Dinesh, is depend upon the requirement, no? If you have so many containers creating, so number of machines will be increased. 3 is sufficient. So T2 micro, and then I go what? 730, edit it, here, this. How many? 10 GB. How many I want me you want to launch here? 3. And also we call it as orchestration tool. What is that? Orchestration tool. Orchestration is nothing but maintaining multiple containers, managing multiple containers. Online, put in the chat, what is that? Orchestration tool. So Docker Swarm, what is Docker Swarm? Docker Swarm is a orchestration tool. And you can also call it as cluster concept. What is that? Cluster meaning what? Group of servers only, right? What we have here? Group of servers also, right? So if someone asks what is, how do you do the orchestration in the Docker? Then you should say Docker Swarm. So first one I call it as Docker leader. This one I call it as Docker node 1. This one I call it as Docker node 2. Okay, should we go and connect it? Okay, see here now, I clearly wrote here, if container deleted, we can recreate manually or using Docker Compose. Yes or no? If you delete the container, we can create another container, or you can just simply do Docker-compose up -d, all the containers will come up. But if the Docker host machine is terminated, entire ground is not there, how do you play cricket? Yes or no? So in that case, what we need to do, we need to have multiple grounds. So for that, how do we use that? Using Docker Swarm, we use multiple host machine. And what is it? It is a orchestration tool for the containers. It is a cluster used to manage containers. So cluster meaning what? Group of servers. And cluster will have manager and then worker nodes. You can call it as manager also, and you can call it as here leader also. And then and multiple servers will have the same containers or not? If you create Apache container on one machine, in all 3 machine Apache container will be there. So just in case if one machine goes down, so you have another machines. Just in case if you delete the container also, Putuk, it will burn again. It will give birth again. If you delete the container also, again it will burn. So you cannot kill the containers, right? We can kill it, but in that service, if you kill anything, its self-healing capacity is there. Okay, that's fine. And what's the port number it uses? 2377. Remember, when I say 2377 or when I say the port number here in security groups, you need to enable that port number. But if you don't worry about the port number in security group, enable all traffic. Should we go and connect it now? Okay. So first what we do, we go to multi-exec, and then what we do, sudo hyphen yes. And what we need to install first? Install Docker. You want hostname CTL, huh? Hostname CTL, set hyphen hostname. So you exclude these two and call it as leader. Sudo hyphen I, and then here node 1. Sudo hyphen I. Here node 2. Sudo hyphen I. And then what we do, m install -y Docker. So when to start the Docker, what's the command to start the Docker? Systemctl start Docker. Okay, all machines are up, and I go to my leader node. Okay, so here, what is the concept that we are learning here? Docker Swarm. Say that. Docker Swarm. So Docker Swarm, as I told you, it will manage the multiple machines and multiple containers. It's a group of machines. So in order to group of machines, so this is acting as a leader, and next two machines are acting as a worker nodes. So we need to group them, all these things or not. In order to group them, we use a command called Docker Swarm init. Say that. Docker Swarm init. So Docker Swarm, what is a init? So if you do init, do you see this here? Very important. It will give you one command here. What do? You take this command and then you need to run in all the worker nodes. So if you run that in worker nodes, what will happen? All these worker nodes will be under this leader node. It will come and join. So I copy this, go here, paste it, enter. What does it say? This node joined a swarm as a worker. Same thing here also. So I'll copy this again. So this node join as a worker nodes. Got it, guys? Okay. So now we don't have any work on these worker nodes because everything we are managing from where? Leader node. Do we need to go inside the worker node anymore? No. So this all the worker nodes will be managed by leader node. So if you want to see here, we have something called Docker node ls. Say that. If you see Docker node ls, do you see this here? This is leader node. This is node 1, node 2, and all are active, all are ready. And then the manager status is here. Now we have formed the group or not? It's very easy. Online, online, is this clear online till here? Okay, fantastic. So simply what we did a Docker Swarm init, and then we have joined all the worker nodes to the leader node. Yeah, no. Uh, okay, see here now let's go and create the containers, guys. Let's go and create a containers. So what's the command to create the container? Docker run. So Docker run -it name, and then all these things that we give. But if you use Docker run command, the container will be created only on one machine. If you use Docker run command. So instead of that, we should use Docker service command. What's that? What's the command? Okay. I'll write the command. See here. Read with me here. Docker service create So yesterday we have given our HDFC website. So what are the 4 images here? Internet banking, mobile banking, insurance, loans. Okay. So let's go and create one by one, right? If you create one or two, anything, everything is fine. So here, let's go and create the first one here. Which one? Internet banking. Okay. Tell with me, Docker service create. What's the service name you're creating? Internet banking. In Docker Swarm, we call it as Docker service. Say that. Docker service. So you're creating a service, no? What is the service that you're creating? Internet banking. Okay. And this, and how we call it as replicas. Say that. Hyphen replicas. Replicas meaning how many containers that you want to create for internet banking only. Tell me how many containers you want me to create. 3, your wish. 3, 30, 3, your wish. If you say 10, for example, if you create 3, what's that? If you say 3 here, replicas are 3, then what will happen is, how many machines are there? 3 machines. In each machine, one container will be created. In each machine, one container will be created. If you say 10, so the leader will decide here 10 divided by 3. So in each machine, 3, 3, 4 will get created. Which machine? Leader will take care of it. So how many replicas that you want to create? You can create. Should I go for 3 for now? Okay, let's 3. And we need to expose the port number -P. What's the port number? Let's go with what? 81. Our internet banking. So I'm exporting, mapping the port as 81, host port, and container port is what? 80. And we need to give the image name. So I have my repository, right? See, now I'm not using my local images now anymore, because I have my images in the Docker Hub or not. So here, do you remember the repository name? Trainer ria / what's the image name? IB image. See this command, register in your brain. Read that command once. Replicas. The whole concept of Docker Swarm is that replicas only. So if you say replica as 3, so how many containers will be created? 3 containers will be created. Where? 1 in each. How many machines are there? 3 machines, right? And then in each machine, one container will get created. Understood? Okay. Enter. Do you see this? Out of 3 tasks, how many tasks? 3 replicas we have created, we have given. So it is creating 3 containers there. See, starting, running, waiting, so that the tasks are stable. And then boom, done. Hosted, application deployed, everything done. So simply, if you want to see Docker ps-a, how many containers are there here? Only 1. Only 1. And I'll go to worker node. In worker node also, what I do? Docker ps-, how many here? 1. Here also Docker ps-, 1. So all 3 are there. So if I create using Docker service, if I create using Docker Swarm, if I create any container, so based on the number of replicas, so those many replicas will get created. And my application is hosted. So if I go and access Docker leader, copy this, and if I put it on port number 81, I have my this thing. And can I also see the same thing here? Because my container is there, also there. There. Understood? So that is the power of Docker Swarm there. So where if you do it here, so here Omnath is asking. So if I set 4 replicas, then In some machine, 2 will get created extra, right? So it will get distributed among the nodes. The containers will be distributed among the nodes. Okay, now if you want to see what are the services that you have created, what is the service we have created? Service name? Internet banking. So if you see here, Docker service ls. So internet banking is there, service, and then it is replicated. How many are there? Really? All are working. So if I delete any container in one, if I delete any container here, do I have any impact to the customer? No, because I have a high availability here. Now create one more service. Okay, before that, you can see the information like this: Docker service PS. PS means to listing the containers. Which service? Internet banking. See here, total how many are there? 3 containers are there. One in node 1, one in node 2, and the one is in later node. So if you want to see the details of this particular service, Docker service PS internet banking. And if you want to see the logs, Docker service logs internet banking. This is fully qualified domain. It's complete. That's fine. Okay. If you want to see the logs, and if you want to inspect Docker service, say that Docker service inspect internet banking. So it will give the entire information about that service. Online, getting it? Okay, now how many replicas are there? 3, right? Now I want to scale out. Now I want to what? I want to scale out. If you want to scale out, simply how many replicas are there now? 3. So we can do the scale out or not? Here we have a nice command. See here, Docker service scale. What's that? So what is the service name? Internet banking. How many you want to scale, for example? Tell me. Put 10. How much? Put 10. So 10 meaning if I put here 10 replicas, so what will happen? New containers, 10 containers will be created and the share among all the nodes or not? Should we do it? Let's do. Boom. Do you see? Fatafat containers created, running, done. Done. Tell me. Docker PS hyphen A. How many machines? How many are there containers here? In leader, how many are there? 3 are there. Here, how many are there? 4 are there. Here, how many are there? 3. 10 barabar. Understood? And there is also another command to see, right? What is the command? Docker service. Very good. PS internet banking. And you see this here? In node 1, 2, 3, 4 machines are running. So it is internet. How many are there? From 1 to 10 containers. Can you do it easily scaling up, scale out? So like this, I created what? Internet banking. Can you create it mobile banking, any service, how many services that you want, and you scale out or not? Clear, guys? Mm. The no load balance, no? That's a problem with this. Good question. So is there any load balancing here? Is there any load balancing? Is there any auto scaling here? So when the traffic comes and then goes, that is the reason why we go for Kubernetes. Docker Swarm is not much used in the real time. Actually, Docker Swarm people don't even teach. They'll skip it because of no use. So, right? Then possible. So that is what, if you use SRS for like putting Nginx in front and then maintaining the containers and all, then possible. Okay. So now you scale out. We can also scale in. We can also scale in. What's the command? Docker, I mean leader only, no? Docker service, Docker service, scale, which one? Internet banking. So previously I said the 10, right? Now if I put 3, what will happen? Scale in, all the contents will get deleted. So see here. Done. So if I go, it will take little bit time. So see, now it is in exit state. Exit state meaning here, what meaning? That meaning deleted. Now it's gone. Only how many are there? 1. Here also how many will be there? Only 1 will be there. So can we go and scale out? Scaling can be done here. Got it now? So online this is clear. Let's say for example, in my leader node, I delete one container. How to delete the container? Docker stop, and I go with the container. Docker, I remove that, right? And if I do Docker ps-a, one more came up or not? I just up how many seconds? 2 seconds ago. So if you delete it also container in the particular service, automatically it will bring up self-healing. Got it? Online, got it? So if you want to delete the complete service, which is the service that we are using here? Docker service internet banking, right? So if you want to delete the service, simply Docker service RM internet banking. And can you create multiple services for all 4? You want me to create here? Not required, right? So similarly, how we created Docker service create and then all these things, you can create it like this. Okay. So can you tell me how to remove it? Docker service RM internet bank gone. So Docker service PS. Sorry, what is that? Docker service LS. Do you have any? Understood, Nana? You want me to create one more service? Okay, na? Okay. Tell me. You tell me the command. Docker service create hyphen name mobile banking hyphen replicas. How many? Tell me. 7, huh? Oh, okay. 7 and hyphen p 82. Very good. 80 and then trainer Riaz slash MB hyphen. Do we have a local image here? Do we have a local image? No. So it will pull from where? Look it up. Simple. 7 got created and you can play with it. Docker service scale, and then you can scale out, scale in, you can stop, you can list, you can remove, you can do whatever you want. Okay. And I should be able to access using with port number 82. Mobile banking. Okay. I didn't change this. Okay. Inside code. Okay. Clear now? Online, is this clear? Everyone? Subbarao, that's a problem. Does it have any auto scaling concept? Does it take any have load balancing concept, Subbarao? People want to use it, use it. So as I want to teach all the topics, I'm just putting all the topics here. Okay. So guys, here you have some something here. Cluster activities. If you see Docker Swarm leave, what's that? If you don't want any node, if you don't want a particular node, what you can leave the swarm or not? So where I need to do here? I need to go here in the worker node and I call it as here Docker Swarm. If I leave, so it will leave from that cluster or not. Anytime you can leave the cluster, again you can join that using this command. Again you can join to that cluster using the command. So and then if you want to remove it, Docker node remove node ID. I'm not removing because I want to teach you a few more things, right? So is this clear on the Docker Swarm? It's very easy, guys. Online, should we remove this Docker service RM? Hmm? Online clear? Can I get CC? Fantastic. Okay, so next let's go with the concept called networking. What's that? Docker network. See here. Docker networking are used to communicate between the multiple containers that running on the same or different Docker host machine. Yes or no? Let's say we have one host machine, you have another host machine. If you take one host machine also, so two communicators will talk to each other. No, right? So if you want to talk to them each other, so we can use the networking concept and we can communicate with each other. And between the in single host, two containers can communicate, and across two different host machines also containers can communicate using what concept? Networking. Now, without networking, do you have anything? Can you communicate with each other without network? No. Here we call it as Docker networking. What's that? So mainly we have four types of networks here. How many types of networks? Interview questions and you will get it. So four types of networks. So inside that, say with me, number one, bridge network. Say with me, bridge network, overlay network, host net, excuse me, host network, non-network. Say what are the four again? Hmm. Bon, bon, BOHN, bridge, overlay, host, none. What's the shortcut? Bon. Okay, fine. So bridge network. So bridge network meaning what, Nana? Same host. If two container wants to communicate with each other in the same host machine. If you have only one host machine and if two containers want to communicate with each other, then go for which network? Bridge network. And then next one is overlay. Overlay is nothing but between the two different host machines. Two different host machines are there and the two containers want to communicate with each other across the host machines, then go for which network? Overlay network. Which one? And then you have host network. What is that? Host network meaning if you want to use your host network. Host here meaning EC2, right? If you want to use EC2 related Ethernet and then networking, then go for host network. Non-network meaning if you don't want to use anything. If you don't want to expose any application, you just doing the practice, then go for non-network. So here, most of the thing, which one will use? Either bridge network or overlay network. What is bridge? Same host, two containers. Overlay, different host, different containers. Got it? Okay. So here, if you see Docker node ls, so we have all the machines running. Okay. So by default also we have here, what's the command here? Docker network ls. Say that. Docker network ls. So we have few networks here already created. So can you tell me here, what is the default here we have? Bridge network here also, bridge network here also, host, here also overlay. Overlay meaning we have the Docker swarm, right? Docker swarm need to communicate with each other or not. So which network it will use? Overlay only, right? So overlay meaning across the host machines. Here Docker swarm is a combination of multiple nodes. So how do it communicate multiple nodes? Using overlay. If it is in single, bridge network. Which one here? Bridge network. So that's why overlay is using by what? Swarm, and bridge network using by local. So can we create our own network if required? Yes. We can create our own network if required. So what's the command to create? It is docker network create. And I'm creating with my name, for example. Tell me what's the command? Docker network create. I'm creating a network. How to list the networks? Docker network ls. Do you see this here? And what is the default network here? Bridge. Okay. So now let's create a two containers. I'm going. So which is the most commonly used here? Bridge only, because Docker swarm we don't use much here, right? So let's go concentrate on bridge one. Now I have a requirement for you. Create two containers. Container one, container two. Expose the port with 81 and 82 and use Nginx image. Create two containers. And then what we do is we'll attach. By default, will it be in Riaz network? No, it will be in the host network. By default, bridge network, which is managed by Docker. So what I do is I'll connect that container one and container to my Riaz network. Okay. As it is connected, now what is the whole concept of bridge network? Two containers will communicate with each other or not? Then what I do, I log into one container and I'll ping the second container. Will it ping or not? It will ping. This is a test that we do. Online, you got the concept? So it's very simple in networking. So create a network. So I just created a network. What's the command to create a network? Docker network create and then give the name, network name. And then yes, Omnath, same host. Bridge meaning here we are creating bridge network. Bridge network meaning same host. Overlay meaning different hosts. If you want to communicate overlay, if multiple host machines containers, then go for overlay. But here I'm teaching about what here? Bridge network. So bridge network meaning same host, different containers. Got it? So my requirement, Omnath, clear? So my requirement here is create two containers with Nginx, 81 and 82 port, map it, and then we log into it, and I will connect to the Riaz network, and we log in and we'll try to ping each other. Tell me the command. Docker run -itd -name container one and expose a for map the port 81 and which one? Nginx. You can take anyone. I'm just simply taking Nginx. Okay. Create one more container. Call it as 82 and then container 2. Done. Okay. So I created two containers. Sorry. Docker. Yes, -a. So if we want to see what network this container and container 2 is using, what is the command that you can use? Docker. There is a command to see the entire information about the container. Docker inspect. Very good, Kalyani. What is that? Docker inspect. Docker ls meaning to list the networks. That's it. But here I want to see which network is connected to the container one. So it will come under the entire information, right? What's the command? Docker inspect. Which one? Container one. So if you do this here, Can you see what it is using here? Bridge. By default, it is using what here? Bridge. Okay. By default, it is using here bridge. Okay. Now, I don't want this to be inside our network settings. I don't want to into this default one. I want to be inside my Riaz network. First of all, can you tell me what's the command to list the networks? Docker network ls. So do you see this Riaz network is there? So now I want my container 1 and container 2 be into the same network, Riaz network. Tell me what's the command here. So Docker network, we call it was connect which network to which container? Docker network connect Riaz and then container 1. And same I'll connect to which one? Container 2. So they both are in the same network now. So how do I check? Docker inspect container 1. So should I go with grep, what's that? There. And same container 2 also there. Got it now. If you don't want to grep, you want to see if your eyes are good, then go and find out where is it. See, my eyes are not good. No. Not that. Which network is this? Bridge, and the name is this. Okay, it's the last only, it's there. Okay. Okay. Now, question for you is, let's connect inside the container, whichever the container that you want, container 2, for example, and then ping to the container 1. Ping to the container 1. So can you log into the container 2? Tell me what's the command. Docker. Louder. Docker exec -it. Which one? Container 2 bin bash. Okay. Now, I want to ping the first one. So if I want to ping the what is, do you understand? Do you know the concept of ping? Ping is nothing but what? It will tell them whether it is alive or not. It will respond. Request response. But I want to ping. So if I want to ping, I need to have the IP address or not? Do I have IP address of first one? Container 1? No. So come back and let's find out the IP address. How to find out the IP address? Okay, you want to connect inside and get it, or there is another way also, right? Hmm? Get the IP address, yeah. Can I get it from inspect? Docker inspect container 1. Do you see the IP address here? Okay. Let's log into container 2. So container 2 I logged in and I do here ping. Which one? This one. But what it says here? Ping command not found. So what I need to do? If something is not there, what we need to do? We need to install, right? So by default, ping, VI, all this will not be there. So we need to install the ping. So for that, what we need to do is first apt update -y. Update the packages, and then you need to install IP utils. What's that? IP utils -ping package you need to install, then ping will be there. Okay. So what's the command? Apt install which one? IP utils -ping -y. So should we go and ping it now? Huh? It is responding. Guys, it is getting response from the container one now. Yes or no? Because they both are in the same network. So by this, can I have one application in one container? And can I have database in another container? Can they connect with each other or not? Yes. Understood the networking part? So majorly, how many networks that you have? 4, right? So, okay. Now, if you want to disconnect Ria's network from that container, so you can also do that. Docker network, what we use? Disconnect. Which network? Ria's network. Which container? Container 1 or 2. Disconnect. And then also you can use Docker network inspect. Which network? Ria's. So Ria's network is created. That's a subnet, that's a gateway, or that's IP address ranges. It has subnet range, everything, you will get it. And also, do you remember there is something called prune? I told you, Docker image prune, Prune. No? Huh? Okay, anyways. So prune here meaning here, if I say Docker network prune. Prune is simple, nothing. If you use Docker images prune, what happens is, assume in real time you have so many images in the real time. There might be chances that some images are not used, some images are used. Some images are not used, and unnecessarily it is storing a lot of data there, a lot of space size and all, and you are sure that you don't want that images. Either what you do, either you delete it, but you need to find out and delete, right? You should know which one is not used. If you have 100 images, do you know which one is used, which one is not used? If you use Docker images prune, that meaning it will delete all unused images. Will delete all. So do I have any images now here at the moment? See, I have these images. 3 images are there. If I say Docker images prune, will it delete anything? Because all are used, right? It is there. If any images is not used for longer period of time, then it will delete it. Similarly, can I also do this? Docker network, what's that? Prune. What this will do? It will clean all unused networks. Got the point? Online cities, is this clear? Super. Okay. I have a small Docker Python project. Should we do it? It's very easy. Online? Ready? If you have done the practicals yesterday, that will be easier today. Correct, Chandan. It is not deleted here because it's recently it is used. Okay. I'll show you that project here. This is Docker Python Flask project. What's that? So Docker is installed already. So in my GitHub, I have a repository called Docker Python Flask. Yes, you can change it, Rajesh. So Docker Python Flask. Let's get that code. Can you tell me what this guy is doing? What this Docker file is doing? What is the first line? Python, what is doing? It is getting the base image. What we call here base image. It will pull the base image. Which image it will pull? Python latest it will put. Next, copy. Dot meaning here current directory. Whatever that you have in the current directory will be copied to container /app directory. Next, it will set the working directory as /app. Then what will do? Run pip install -r requirement.txt. Yesterday I told you this. Flask. So if you want to install, you can create one text file and write the softwares over there. Whatever is written inside that requirement.txt, everything will get installed. So what did I wrote in requirement.txt? Flask. Flask will be installed and then expose 5,000. So there is one small application.py is there that we have written, and that will be started. And it is exported on the port number 5,000. So what are the things it required in my application now? What are the files it required for this? One Docker file is required. Next, one Python file, apps.py, and one more requirement text. How many? If you have these three, can you set up the project or not? Those three might. So please fork it. Yes, finish. So guys, do you see Docker Python Flask project? You see the three files? So guys, online, open this and fork it. Okay. All right. So I need these three things in my local machine or not? So for that, what I need to install here? So I need to install the kit. Okay. Let's go. M install -5 kit. For Dinesh, it is for easy purpose, for maintaining easy maintenance purpose. So next time you don't need to keep on writing, adding the lines. You can just open requirement txt and put the command there. It'll Docker file will pick it up. What do we need to do? Git clone. Okay. So I go inside this and I have my all the files. You want you want to see app.py. So it just a small yesterday I gave you no. It's just a hello world program. It says that welcome to DNA by Riaz. So should we go and host it now? So what is there in the Docker file? Cat Docker file. So it is taking okay vi Docker file. So from Python, copy dot meaning copy whatever that I have here, all these three files. All these files will be copied into /app. Working directory, it will send /app and it will run pip install -r requirement.txt. In that requirement.txt, what I have only Flask that will get installed, and this entry point is not required because we are expose 5,000 and then cmd, it will run a Python and then app.py Python file it will run. What I need to do now? So first we need to build it. First we need to build and then run the container or not? Tell me how to build it. Docker build -t. I call it as Python app and then dot. Acha. -t. And from this, should we run a container or not? Let's go and create a container with this image. Okay. So now let's create a container. What's the command? Docker run hyphen itd hyphen okay hyphen name python container and then very good hyphen p. What's the port? What's the port it is exposed? 5000 and then what's that here? 5000 and then Python app. That's the image name or not? Okay. So now my application should be running with 5000 or not? Online. Yeah. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. Sorry. That was a. Okay. So let's go to leader node and then 5000 or not. CD series. Okay. So how easily and nicely we are deploying the applications in Docker. Understood? To give you confidence, to make you more confidence. So I'm just doing multiple projects on this Docker. Okay. Okay. Is this clear till here, everyone? Online? Everyone, please. Offline, everyone clear? Okay. So, congratulations. We have successfully completed Docker. Next milestone. That was the deep and end on the Docker. Cleared most of the things. And then, as I told you, that I'll be giving a project on this. We already did the project, but what we do, we will be integrating with the Jenkins or not. So let's go with that project now. As you are heroes on Jenkins, I no need to teach all the Jenkins things again. But the only things what we do here is how to integrate Docker to Jenkins. I'll show you. It'll be easy, simple. We need to write a pipeline, Jenkins pipeline, and then there what we do, we'll just pull the images, we'll run the Docker files, and then we'll build it, and we'll run the Docker file. We'll do little bit project here. So no problem. You can use the same thing also, Dinesh, no problem. But based on the requirement, you need to change the commands. Sometimes I have given CMD as a daemon off. I have given. Sometimes we have foreground. We have given. So you can use anything. As I want to give you multiple things, so I gave you multiple commands there. Okay. But you need to remember, Dinesh, CMD will work only when you start the container. That you should remember. Okay. Fantastic. So let's go to our let's go to our node here. Let's see whether we have any Docker PS -a. Uh, okay, Docker container 2. Okay, should we clean it up everything? Okay, what's the command to clean up? Docker. I mean containers. Delete the containers. Docker, RM, dollar, Docker, PS, hyphen, AQ. First, what we need to do? Either stop or kill. I'm waiting for you to tell that. First kill and then remit off. And then images, Docker, RMI, dollar, Docker, images, hyphen, okay. Docker images, nothing. Docker, yes, nothing. Clear? Okay. So now what we do is we need to integrate with Jenkins, right? On this Docker leader machine itself, I'll install Jenkins. Yes or no? How we have installed Ansible and Jenkins in one place, here also Jenkins and Docker in one place. So should we go and set up Jenkins here? Huh? Okay, so in the GitHub, we have our Jenkins repo. Where is DevOps script? Okay. So let us install our Jenkins. Guys, if jenk.sh, if required, can you set up Jenkins also in your container also or not? Your wish. For that, I have given also a maybe I removed. That's fine. Guys, we'll use that same project. HDFC project is there, no? HDB website. So using Jenkins, what I want to do, what we will do is we will build the images for all one by one, internet banking, mobile banking and all. Because in real time, we'll do the same thing, multiple services. We'll build it, we will tag it, we'll push it, and then we will create a containers using Docker Compose. That's a project. Processing. Okay. So we'll set up a Jenkins. I'm setting up Jenkins here. Okay. Let's open the Jenkins first. Colon 8080. Guys, password also you'll get it here. No need to go there also. Okay. So what we will be doing is listen carefully again. Everyone online. We are setting up the Jenkins now. Anyways, Docker is installed. You don't need to do anything there in the Jenkins. Simply directly what we do, we go and write a pipeline. You'll go and write a pipeline. First, what we need to build it or not. We need to build it. So from the Git, we'll get in the Git we have something called Docker project is there. I'll show you. Do you see Docker project? So Docker project is there. Inside this, what I have is index.html. I have. This is my application. Okay. What does the index.html contains? Internet banking. If you want mobile banking, edit it, it will come mobile banking. So assume that I have an application here. And then I have a Docker file. Docker file is for what purpose? Build purpose. So can I build this index.html using Docker file and get an image? Okay. And then we'll tag an image. And then we tag a image. And then what we do? Push the image. And then what we do? Using Docker Compose, can we create containers in one shot using the images that we've got created? So this is the pipeline. See here the pipeline. Your experts already here. What is the first one? Check out. So we are checking out what? Docker project git. And then what we are doing? Docker build. Here I'm using a variable. Remember in Jenkins we learned about this project is parameterized. So image meaning, is it only one image that I have? Multiple images, right? So that meaning, can I give a choice parameter? So I create a name is equal to image, choice parameter. Values are internet banking colon V1, mobile banking colon V1, insurances V1, loan V1. So whenever I build it, I can pass the image one by one and create 4 images if required. Yes or no? And then what we do? We'll tag it. So yesterday we tagged it individually, right? You have internet colon V1 image and also trainer ria slash IB hyphen image. So that is also a repo variables that I'm creating here in the choice parameter. And then tags will be done. And what we do? We need to do the Docker login. We need to do the Docker login. Once the login is done, what we do? Docker push trainer rias slash that one repo. And then finally, what we use, we will need to run the Docker Compose or not. So Docker Compose here, we use a new command called Docker stack. Say that. So Docker stack deploy, and we give the name and then Docker Compose file. What is there in the Docker Compose file? In Docker Compose file, do you see this here? Services, internet banking, image, port. And then here what we use? Deploy. Because we are using Docker Swarm, no? I'm using high availability also in this project. So how many replicas? 3. And then for this, I'm creating a separate volume for internet banking. Remember in Docker, we discussed about the volumes. As this is a project, I'm mixing up multiple things. And same thing you do for all 4. And run the pipeline. You understand the architecture? Online, do you understand the architecture? Offline, you? Understood? Online, you? Everyone, please. Online, could you reply, please? Because you need to understand the project first, then only the implementation will do. Okay? Okay. Fantastic, guys. Super. So let's log in. So what we do? Directly, we'll go and create the pipeline. So before that, I create a pipeline. No, Jenkins need to talk to the Docker, right? Jenkins need to talk to the Docker. For that reason, here we need to give the full permission to the Docker process. So what is the command here we are giving? chmod 777. What is the Docker daemon? var run docker.sock. Remember? And then we are reloading the daemon, and then we're restarting the Docker service. Okay. First, what we do, let's do this in your
This
okay.
meeting is
So
being
this thing, I'm
recorded.
giving the permission. Let's go and create a pipeline now. Okay. Let's go and create a pipeline. That is also possible. That is also you can do, Anup. You can create a separate Docker user, and then you can add it -ag concept. You can do it. Okay. So let's go and create. Yeah. And then I call it as here Docker project. Which one? Pipeline. Click on. Okay. So first of all, here we need to create multiple images or not? We need to create multiple images. So for that, what I need to use? This project is parameterized. And which parameter I go for here? Choice parameter. What is the name? Variable name is what? Image. And then I need to give here internet banking colon P1. Similarly, mobile. Guys, spelling mistakes, please let me know. Huh? V2. Next one, insurance. So not V2, V1 only, right? V1. Here also V1. Next one, loans. V1. So can I create multiple images like this? Hmm? Okay. Let's go and write a pipeline. Tell me. Remember pipeline? Pipeline. Hmm. Agent. Stages. Check out. And then steps. And then git. So I need to give that repository here. Oopsie. Where? Okay. Next step. Stage. Here, what we're doing. Fantastic, guys. Build. Steps. Here, shell commands only, right? What we need to do? Build, right? What's the command? Docker. Tell me. Docker build -t image name, right? But image name I have given the variable there. So what is the dollar image? And then how can you forget that dot? Huh? Because with the Docker file is there in that repository, right? Docker file is there in the repository. So do you see that there our Apache and then index data? Here, Nara. Ubuntu update install Apache and our index.html there it's copying into var dot and then Apache CTL foreground. We have done this already. Docker file. Okay. Okay. Should we run this? If it run, what it will create? It will create a image as simple as that. Online, is it clear? So click on save. Build with parameters. Before I build it, here, if I say Docker images, do we have any images here? No. So which one image? Should we go for the internet banking? Click on build. See what it does. After that, what we do? Create a build is success. So what I created here, if I do Docker images, I have the image ready now. I need to have how many images now? 3 more images now. So we need to do the same thing. But can anyone tell here? If I do here build with parameters, which one I need to select next? Mobile banking build. But if I build it, what is there in index.html? In index.html, I have here mobile internet banking. What's that? I need to change to mobile banking or not? Because I have only one application here. So go ahead and edit here what? Edit to, I call it as what? Mobile banking. And then save it. Okay. Now let's build again. Which one? And now I'll get mobile banking image or not? Done. One more. Next, insurance. And then build with parameters, insurance. Fantastic. And last one is loans. Build with parameters, loans. Done. If I go here, I have all images now. See how I'm using Jenkins to build my images. Next time onwards, I don't need to create images manually. Jenkins pipeline, right? Superb. And then, okay, now what I did, I have my application, I created the images. After that, what I need to do? Tag it. Fantastic. What we need to do? Tag it. So how do we tag it? Tag. Docker, tag, image name, repo name. Yes or no? So here, let's go. We need to have one more stage now. Stage. So tagging. What's that? Tagging. Next, steps. Next, sh. And tell me the command. Docker tag image name. So why, can I use a variable here? What is that? $image. And then I need to put what? Trainer rear slash. Tell me. Tell me. Exactly. Actually, here I put right. Is it possible to give me one by one here to change the pipeline? So for this also, can I do the variables here? Fantastic. So instead of that, I call a variable called what? Repo. But do we have the variable here written? No. We have to create a variable. Add one more choice parameter. What's the name, Nana, here? Repo. So here, what we need to say here? Trainer rear slash which one? And next trainer rear slash which one? MB image. Sorry, it's an image. Next, next here is what? Insurance. Here. So same thing I'm calling here repo, and it will be tagged or not. So if I run the pipeline, what will happen? Here, 4 more will get created with trainer with the tags. Got the concept? Save it and then run it. And I have now 2. Which one? Internet banking. Here, which one it select? Build. Done. Build with parameters. So if I go here, it's still building. Okay. Do you see trainer image? It's there. Similarly, we create for mobile banking, and this is the tag for it. Now, next insurance. Yes. Separate services. No, we are not mixing. That is the microservices. We go with the separate ones. And finally, what? Because if you have any problem with internet banking, do you run the entire pipeline for all the images and all the services? Individually, you need to build it, right? Okay. See here now. I have all the images here. Ready? Next, what we need to do? What we need to do? Push the image. Fantastic. So to push the image, we need to what? Fantastic. So here we can go with the credentials also. We can go with the environment variables also is fine. Okay. So for that, what we need to do is go to dashboard, manage Jenkins. Okay. So we'll create a variable. What is my username? I'm using mine. Trainer Riaz is my username. Password, I will put it. I need to put it, right? For that, you need to close your eyes or not? Huh? You need to close your eyes. So because, okay, let's go to what? System. If you close your eyes also, it's recording, no? I'll stop screen sharing. Okay. Uh, okay. Here, environments. Variables are there. Very good. What is the environment? What is the variable name I'll give? Password I'll give. What's that? Password. You can give username also. Username is fine, right? I can pass it in the pipeline, right? I'll password value. So guys, I'm just stopping the screen share for a moment, right? And then you also please down your heads because I want to change the passwords later unnecessarily. Okay. Okay. Don't worry. I'll change the password later. Okay. I saved it. Okay. Done, done, done. Sorry for that. Online. Can you can you see my screen again? Okay. All right. So I wrote the password there. Okay. And then what we do, Nana? So we need to add a stage now again. Let's go and add the stage. Let's add one more stage. Stage. And what I'm doing here? Push. Pushing. Push. Push is fine. Okay. And then steps. Okay. Next, sh. What's the command? Docker. First, what we need to do before push? Login, right? So what's the command? Docker login -u meaning username. What is my username? Trainer Riaz. Can you create a variable also for this? Yes. And then password -p. What's the variable I have given password? Password. If you want this to be also variable, create a variable for it. No issues. And then what we do after this? One more. Docker push. What do you need to push? What is the variable I should call? Image meaning which one? Variable name. What's the variable name I have given? Image is the local images. I tagged, right? What's the tagged image? Repo. Repo, I said. Was that here? Repo. Repo. Okay. Should we save it? Okay. Now click on save. Understand how I'm building the pipeline. So now let's go here. Which one? Internet banking. If I build, what will happen now? What will happen now? It will create image locally and then it will authenticate to the Docker hub and then it will push it to the image. So somewhere. Resource is denied. So that meaning password I have given wrong. So don't worry, I'll change my password. Let's see. My password is all is well 123. All is well 123 only, no? Okay. Some spelling mistake somewhere, right? Access denied meaning it's a do you see this? R is missing, no? Right? That's what spelling, one small mistake, right? Okay. Should we run this again? Then internet banking. Let's don't log into my Git now, Docker Hub, okay? Login succeeded now? Huh? That's okay. The what is there in Docker Hub? You see image, that's it. Nothing. See, now it is preparing, pushing. Pushed, layer by layer it is pushing. Success. Done, Nana? So we need to do the same thing for all four, right? So let's go for mobile banking.